My name is Dorota Lech. I'm from the programming department, and it is my great, great honor to be introducing the international premiere of László Nemes's Sunset in our special presentations category. To begin, we would like to acknowledge that tonight's event is taking place on the treaty territory of the Mississaugas of the New Credit and the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, the Anishinaabe, and the Huron-Wendat. We are sincerely grateful to have the opportunity to work in the community. This film is eligible for the Grolsch People's Choice Award. You can vote for your favorite films online at tiff.net/vote. We would like to thank Mongrel Media, Sony Pictures Classics, as well as Playtime for providing us with this film. László Nemes was born in Budapest. After years of working as an assistant director to filmmakers including Béla Tarr, he directed the shorts Türelem, The Counterpart, and The Gentleman Takes His Leave. His debut feature, Son of Saul, won the Grand Prix at the Cannes Film Festival, screened here at TIFF, and then went on to win the Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. László is, and I do not use this word lightly, a genius and a visionary. It is truly an honor to have him here in Toronto and to welcome him to the stage. László.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I have a sense of déjà vu a little bit. I was here 3 years ago with my film Son of Saul. And I had a great experience here, and the screening was really among the best, and the response was very, very intense. So I'm glad that we present the film tonight on 35mm print. It was shot on 35mm, and well, we'll talk about it later. But I'm glad it's still possible. I just want to call. Should I? A few people came with me to present the movie tonight. So first of all, the lead actress, Julia Jakob. And my two producers from Hungary, Gábor Sipos, Gábor Rajna. And we have our co-producers from France, François Yon and Nicolas Brigot-Robert. So I'm just going to say a few words, and they're going to stand here saying nothing, which I really enjoy. This is a film that that requires, I guess, that you as viewers let go of some of the maybe some of the attitude that cinema nowadays imposes on the viewers. So I really hope that you can come with us to this journey, and this is a great honor to present the film tonight. And it's a film about it's a film that takes place in Austria-Hungary a little bit than 100 years ago, and it was a strange place with many nationalities and many cultures and many languages. It's a sort of it's a messy world. And today is, in a way, it's more confined, or more. It has a different atmosphere. The film is a whirlwind. So I hope that you can you can enjoy it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Enjoy the film. Let's welcome back to the stage László Nemes and Julia Jakob.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you. Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'll start by asking a few of my own questions and then take it to the audience. László, to grow up in Eastern Europe at our age means to have grandparents and great-grandparents who survived very surreal things. But of course, it's really impossible to understand what happened in history. How did you approach writing this film?
Well, first of all, thanks for staying, because I know this is not the kind of movie that you want immediately to have a discussion on stage. So thank you for staying. I really I've been fascinated by the history of our recent history and 20th century. How did it come? How was it born? How we think that we know so much about, not only about First World War and Second World War, but also about human history. We seem to be very confident about our view on that. We sort of have this external point of view or godlike point of view. We seem to understand, but I think history is much more about the things that are invisible and you cannot really see and cannot list, as in a series of facts. It's something that's more chaotic. How did the civilization of Europe, that was so brilliantly sophisticated, such as it was the case in Austria-Hungary, it was a good symbol of that. How did this civilization, chose the road to self-destruction in a matter of years? That's something that really has been very has fascinated me for a long time. It's not history with the distance. It's how you can immerse yourself in history in a period. And I try to base my cinematic approach on what I think about human experience of life, the fragmented perception, the limitation, and it's not a canvas that you have access to when you're in even historical times, very important historical times. It's much more. So I think that our this limitation has been in the center of my approach in Son of Saul, but also obviously in Sunset, which has to do with how this human civilization, how the soul of civilization is linked to the human soul. And I was looking in this film for that kind of adventure and exploration.
You are a huge proponent of shooting and seeing films on 35 millimeter, but I understand that the last scene of the film was shot on 65. Can you talk about this decision?
We wanted to open up after this, sort of plunging into the reality of one person and the subjectivity of one person with all its limitations. We wanted to open up to the scope of our vision, so it's as a point of reference, and my cinematographer suggested that we use 65 to enhance even the to give other other qualities to the picture, and that's why we shot on street.
I want to ask first of all, Yuli, you are incredible in the film. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Some of you may not know because Yuli has quite a small role in Son of Saul, but she's also, I don't know what your character's name was in Son of Saul, but the woman with the gunpowder in the camp.
She was Ella.
Ella.
Not named, but...
Not named, but Ella.
Ella, not named. And as I understand, László saw 10,000 girls and women across Hungary
I should have said 100,000, but I only said it.
But are you lying? 10,000 girls and women across Hungary for this role, but came back to you. And I'm so curious, can you talk about your relationship of working together?
Yes, I think it's the best possible relationship between an actress and the director, because it was really peaceful. I could say it was quiet because we didn't really have to talk much during the shooting. We went through the script before it and during preparation time, and I started to feel at an early stage that something in this story ties us together. And we agreed on everything. Somehow we felt the same when it was about Iris and her journey. So it was a very smooth and very, very peaceful and a magical experience for me.
It's just interesting in retrospect that why are you laughing? Well, I'm not funny yet. You take the picture. It's not conscious, but you take the picture of that woman Ella in the concentration camp and in a barrack for women, and you see this face torn by what we imagine could have been at that time in those dreadful circumstances, and you put next to it the image of Iris, this young lady from a period full of promises and refinement, and shining in an incredible light, and it seems that these are people from the same person, but in another dimension or different planet. You just cannot have a straight line between the two, and it's only a matter of years in Europe. I think that's something that really in retrospect was very striking.
Yuli, can you also tell us how did you prepare for this role? Did you study the period? Did you study the costumes?
Well, yes, I obviously had a lot to learn about the period, but apart from the historical facts, I had dancing lessons and etiquette lessons. But the most important part was for me to approach Iris as a human being, and I wanted to build her up as a friend, and I try to forget about the period, the era she lived in, because for me it was more important to portray a real person.
But I have to say that I sent all the girls to a hat making camp. Whatever that means.
This is his favorite part.
Yeah.
Okay, can you make hats?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, of course you can.
Of course I can.
No, seriously, in darkness. I mean, there's.
We have to talk.
Okay. In a dark room, put her with fabric, and she makes that. No, seriously, they had to. I mean, that was a prerequisite to that.
We had a camp for that.
Yeah, it is a real one.
I would love to hear some questions from the audience. I will be repeating them into the microphone. Yes, in the purple.
Can I speak louder enough for you to hear?
Yes.
Thank you very much for the film. In my family, the Austro-Hungarian Empire was spoken of with great nostalgia.
Hmm.
A great-grandfather committed suicide at the dishonor of the First World War.
Hmm.
So I really appreciate your piece. It makes me think of Hanukkah's white ribbon.
Mm-hmm.
Is that any?
The question is, was Michael Haneke's white ribbon at all a reference for you?
Not really. Well, obviously, this is from the same region, so we're neighbors, and I think we have the preoccupation of thinking about what kind of forces exist in the human soul. I think these are driving forces possibly between that unite the two films.
I can't tell if you have your hand up or you're putting on your coat. Yes, right there.
Thank you. What's your next project? When are we going to see it here?
The question is, what's your next project and when will we see it here?
I wish I knew, and I don't know. But I really hope to come back because I've had great experience here in Toronto showing the film. It seems to audiences that are really open to cinema. That's something. I don't always meet audiences who are that open to cinematic journeys.
Yes. first it's a compliment about your film and the production design, and then following a question about budgeting and how much it actually costs to create this world.
Well, it depends. We have to ask our 10. My
$10.
producer says $10. 10 million. $10 million.
US.
Well, the thing is that these guys have been with me since my first film, and understand that if I have asked for a few coaches and some 100 extras, that there must be a reason, even if we see only their feet, for example. There was a time, I think, when they stopped worrying about that, and I actually believe that less is more. So how do you enhance how we wanted to create a world in which had layers. Our main character navigates in sort of a labyrinth of layers and tries to uncover the layers, and the more she does it, the more she's confronted to the impossibility of having an entire spectrum and entire image of that. So it supposes that we had to have a lot of layers in production. The extras. We actually had some dancers who would be around us because sometimes especially in Hungary, I don't know about that, but extras don't really know how to behave. We wanted people to walk as people in the 1900s. Different clothing, different way of walking, different attitude. It was important to recreate those levels, and I think that adds to the impression that there's a perspective in the film that it only can take place in your mind. It's layers upon layers of things and people and the chaos of and the spiraling energies of the city that you and she cannot really understand.
I think 2 or 3 years ago, we have a TIFF Cinematheque and we restore films and show films. And we showed a classic Hungarian film called The Roundup by Mikos Jancsó. And we invited László to come and present the film. And I came to the introduction and he gave the most beautiful introduction about the film and why it's important cinematically and historically in Hungary. And at the end, he said one of the funniest things I've ever heard anyone say on stage, which was, "But this is a restoration, so you will never actually see the film." And he walked off stage.
Yeah,
and
because it was a supposedly 2K something, but
So my question is, you shoot on film, and presumably in the future, someday your films may have to be restored. How do you feel about this?
But I don't understand why restoration has to take place. I mean, the final product has to be on zeros and ones. It can be on a on a physical support, which a film, I think, really enhances the audiences. I think maybe it's not conscious, but probably people would agree that it looks different and it feels different. And I really feel that, depriving audiences, taking away from them the possibility to watch films on films, actually downgrading their experience. And I think we're human beings, so it's not. I think that it's about a physical world and the chemical world, and it's not only if we only live in a virtual world, then it's going to be very poor. I think as a very bleak future that's ahead of us.
I agree. And we really appreciate you. We adore your film. We're so proud that you brought it to Toronto, and we hope you do come back with future projects.
Thanks for
Congratulations, Yuli. You were fantastic.
Thank you.
Vote for the film.
Thank you.